This week, everything you would expect from a whole week of the war. Daring escapes, mass marches, panic, and of course, tedious political and economic decisions. However, the main stars of this report are two expeditions, one out flanking the rebels and the other a drive from the rear. Let's start this week with the star of the show, the Meriden Campaign. This week opens with Sherman reaching Jackson, Mississippi, having skirmishes with multiple small rebel forces. And the next day, he continues the march and the fights continue. Cavalry Commander William Soy Smith is now in Memphis, Tennessee, and is dragging his feet leaving it. And the next day, more slow marching, more skirmishing. On the 9th, Yazoo City is captured, not by Sherman, but by Colonel James Henry Coates. He doesn't do much on the 10th, which means there's only the 11th for Sherman to show something. I still have hope for you. General William Soy Smith, Sherman's cavalry contingent, finally begins an advance from Memphis, Tennessee. He has been slow, but he has now reached Collierville, Tennessee. As Smith advanced past Collierville, Sherman had a skirmish near Railford's plantation. Wow, this is a letdown. After the Meriden campaign, let's talk about the Florida campaign. The 5th, Brigadier General Truman Seymour is given command of the District of Florida, a made-up department from General Quincy A. Gilmore, and told to move from Hilton Head, South Carolina to Jacksonville, Florida, and then move inwards. On the 7th, Seymour lands and makes quick progress, taking many towns. All this action in the west. But wait, the east. Major General Benjamin Butler commands the Army of the James, and has noticed that General Lee has detached part of his army, sent it to North Carolina. Butler writes to General-in-Chief Henry Halleck and Secretary of War Edwin Stanton, telling them that the Army of the Potomac has an opportunity to destroy the Army of Northern Virginia. The Army of the Potomac is at rest. Its commander, Major General George Meade, is ill. Major General John Sedgwick has temporary command, and when he hears about our plan, he completely dismisses it, replying that Lee only detached a small part of his army, but Halleck and Stanton overrule him. Once Lee is engaged, he will draw reinforcements from Richmond and let Butler strike the city without opposition. The battle is set for February 6th. Cavalry gallops across the Robertson Ford. The 1st Corps marches to Raccoon's Ford. The 2nd Corps, Morton's Ford. At Morton's Ford is the Duggan Division of Edward Johnson, the Stonewall Division. And the 2nd Corps is not under the intelligent General Gouverneur K. Warren, but the less experienced General John C. Caldwell. This could spell disaster. Around 0930 hours, the 2nd Corps reaches the ford and spots a picket line. The 3rd Division under General Alexander Hayes sends their 1st Brigade under General Joshua Owens to cross the river, and they capture 30 men of the Stonewall Brigade. Owens leads his men further in when artillery shells explode all around him. Rebels call in reinforcements and deploy, ready to take on Owens. At 1230 hours, Caldwell permits Hayes to reinforce his exposed brigade, while he unlimbers the Federal artillery on a nearby hill. But he should have watched over Hayes, who makes multiple mistakes while crossing the ford. All the commotion of battle is heard by the sick Warren, who rides to the fight arriving at 1500 hours, and witnessing the senseless death of his men. He orders Hayes to withdraw after nightfall, not wishing to risk a rout during the daytime. As the sun sets, the rebels grow confident in their strength and countercharge Hayes. The surprise and power of the Confederates almost break the Union right flank. But a brutal suicide assault from 3 regiments repulses Johnson's advance. By 0200 hours on the 7th, the Union has fully withdrawn. The total losses of the rebels are 60 and the Union 262. The battle was a loss, the plan a failure. A deserter from Butler's army warned Lee of the plan. So when Davis tells Lee of the Union being enforced at Richmond, Lee tells him the situation is under control. In addition, General Pickett was returning to Richmond, so 2 of his brigades and the home guard of the city stood guard against a threat that didn't exist. Damn it, Butler! But back to the 6th. The Confederate Congress tries to rescue their economy. What do? Price controls? New revenue sources like taxes? Maybe some way to bring confidence to their currency? No! They ban the import of luxuries and the circulation of U.S. paper money. Yeah, these are good, but impossible to enforce. They also demand half the products of all exports of tobacco, naval stores, sugar, molasses, rice, and cotton. This is a revenue source, one that will destroy the rebel economy. I'm exaggerating. Their economy hasn't ever existed. Now for a great escape. Libby Prison holds many federal prisoners in Richmond. It's the 2nd highest mortality rate of all prisons in the South. 109 men under Colonel Thomas E. Rose worked together to tunnel their way to freedom, and I'll let Captain Morton Tower tell the rest. On the night of February 9th, as soon as it was sufficiently dark, the exodus from the prison commenced. Major Hamilton, Colonel Thomas E. Rose, and some of the projectors were the first to pass through. Colonel Davis of the 4th Maine and myself had passed through the tunnel to the yard just as the clocks of Richmond were striking 12. Near daybreak, we reached a thicket of woods, where we stopped to rest. 59 will reach freedom, 48 will be recaptured, and 2 will drown. This escape took months of digging and planning. It's an inspiring tale. The same day, Major General John Schofield, the disgraced former commander of Missouri, takes over the Army of the Ohio from General Foster. I don't think this is a good command change. Schofield has held Army command before, the small Army of the Frontier, and he did well, but Foster, I think, is a better team player and has shown success more recently. Now for an iconic face. Photographer of the war Matthew Brady takes a picture of President Lincoln. I like it. I hope we can use it for something. How much do these cost? Like $5? The 10th is the day of navies. A report from France. What could this be? Oh damn. The CSS Florida raider a spot leaving Brest, France. Escapes the watch of the USS Kearsarge. Though for a Union success, the USS Florida destroys 2 blockade runners off the coast of North Carolina. Just as the 10th begins to end, a story from the White House. Just then, the front door of the White House flew open with a jerk. Now came the president, buttoning his coat around him, and said to me, "Where's the fire? What's burning?" I said it seems to be around in the vicinity of the stable. With that, he started off on a dog trot down the steps and along the way leading to the stable. We started to go to the fire. I thought to myself, "Old fellow, you are the man we are guarding. Guess I'll go along." So I struck out on the double quick and went with him, keeping close to his side. We took such long strikes that his dog trot was almost a dead run for me. Soon as we got around where we could see what was burning, we saw that, sure enough, the White House stable was on fire. Quite a crowd had gathered by the time we got there. The fire department was at work. Mr. Lincoln asked hastily if the horses had been taken out. When told they had not, he rushed through the crowd and began to break open one of the large doors with his own hands. The building was full of fire. None of the horses could be saved. The ponies belonged to the little boys, and the goats were all lost in the fire. It was a brick stable, and evidently had been burning for some time before it was discovered. This depresses Lincoln. His lost son Willie loved one of the ponies, and a final connection to his child has turned to ash. First action on the final day, something I would have never expected from this week, a train robbery. Major Henry W. Gilmore, an instigator for the 1861 Baltimore riot all the way back in the second week. Nearly 150 weeks ago? Oh my lord, I'm old. Well, he leads the raid. He and his cavalry knocks the train off the tracks and goes from person to person stealing their valuables. I've been doing this for so long. Let's end this week with a warning from President Davis to General Johnston. The federal advance in Mississippi should be met before he reaches the Gulf and establishes a base to which supplies and reinforcements may be sent by sea. Then there is Sickles. On the 10th, Lincoln sends Sickles a telegram. Please come at your earliest convenience. Prepare to make the contemplated trip for me. Your telegram received. We'll go on tomorrow. This refers to the Arkansas trip, which Lincoln still hasn't explained. But word gets out of the adventure, and the newspapers report it. It is stated that General Sickles has been ordered to bring Arkansas back into the Union. Sickles will have full and discretionary authority to keep things straight generally. That's where the week ends, with a lot of questions. The main one surrounds the Meriden campaign. Sherman has been moving through Mississippi unopposed, but how long will that remain true? Knowing as Polk could gather some of the 20,000 spread out men he has. With how slow William Soy Smith is moving, he must have time to turn this simple cleaning expedition to a horrific battle. That is, they can move quickly enough. Hello, it's the entire Civil War week by week team here. And that Baltimore joke was only partially acting. I've been doing this for 148 weeks by now. That is 3 years or so. Not exactly 3 years, but very close. I would just like to thank all of you for helping me along this adventure that I will complete very soon, I hope. I wish to see you next week.